everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing my review of Final Girls by Riley Sager. Final Girls follows a woman named Quincy Carpenter who 10 years ago went camping in the woods with her friends and came back alone. Yes, her 5 friends were murdered tragically in the woods and she was the lone survivor. So she became a part of a group that no one wants to belong to called the Final Girls, which is a term the media has given to these couple of sole survivors of these mass murders. And there are 3 total Final Girls. 10 years later, Quincy is finally getting past the events that had happened in the woods those years ago, and she doesn't even remember the events of that night. Her memory won't allow her to remember. So she's doing great until one of the Final Girls mysteriously dies, and the second of the Final Girls, Samantha Boyd, comes to find her and is determined to help her memory remember what really happened that night. So, Final Girls. Wow. So the plot of this one, how it's told is we are following 2 timelines. We follow the present, which is 10 years after the murder of the Pine Hill Cottage murders is what the event is called, where Quincy survived. But then we're also following a timeline that is the night of those murders leading up to what really happened that night. So we've kind of got these 2 alternating timelines where Quincy is our sole perspective in both. The whole plot device of the loss of memory is not one that is unique or necessarily my favorite, but it did make for an interesting element to this story because I personally really like unreliable narrators where our protagonist in this book, we don't know like who she really is and like what really happened because she doesn't even know. So she doesn't even know if when she's talking about these events, she's telling the truth because she can't remember any of it. And I love being in the dark with the protagonist at the same time. It's kind of like the same trope that's done for anytime there's amnesia in any of these thriller books. I just really like not knowing with the protagonist what's going on because I don't know that we can trust our protagonist. So I always find that interesting, even though I felt like it was a little bit of a cop-out. I personally wasn't bothered too much by it in this particular story, and I actually did like the level of intrigue that it elevated the story to. That being said, the characters in this book, so Quincy herself, I actually really liked Quincy. In this story, in the current timeline, Quincy is very much trying to get over what happened and doesn't want to be a part of it. She has a pretty good outlook on it and kind of rises above it and says, this is not what I want to define my life. I want to be something else besides just this one night. So I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that that is not all I'm remembered for. And I can appreciate that. It showed a level of strength that Quincy had, and I really liked that. But you could also tell she still had so much trauma stirring inside her, where you could sense that dread kind of building as the story's progressing within her. So I really liked Quincy's character a lot in this book, and I loved her strength that she showed. On the other hand, the other main character that we're following in this book is Samantha Boyd, who is one of the 3 Final Girls who finds Quincy and kind of tries to befriend her. And Samantha Boyd was an interesting character. I don't know that I particularly liked her, but I liked the sense of chaos that she presented to the story. I don't want to say too much else because I don't want to get into any sort of spoiler territory. So I'm just going to leave it at that for the characters. And then for the rest of the plot and the twist at the end, I'm telling you guys, I thought I had this one figured out. At one point in this book, I put down the book and I was like, gosh darn it, I figured out the twist. I know exactly what it is. I know what's going to happen. And then the story kind of goes that way. It goes that way. It goes that way. And then skirt. It goes a totally different direction. And I'm like, wait, that wasn't it. Okay, good. I'm glad that wasn't it because I thought I had it figured out. So now I think it's my backup twist because I had another idea in my mind. And then it went that way. It went that way. It went that way. And then skirt. It once again went in a different direction where I was like, oh my God, I have thought twice now that I solved this. I thought I had it. And twice it just completely blindsided me. So the ending twist, I did not see coming. It was not one of the ideas that I had in my head. Again, I am not very good at predicting thrillers and their twists, but this one definitely surprised me, which I was like so happy about because that's like one of the very few things that I want from a thriller is a twist that surprises me and that I don't see coming. This one had it. I loved it. And especially the ending scene in this book, and I'm not going to say anything more, but I loved how this book ended. I thought it was perfect. So overall, I really enjoyed this book. For a lot of it, it is a slow build, and it doesn't, like, there's so much chaos in it. And I think it's because of the character of Samantha. She just presents so many different things to this book that I don't want to say too much about because I don't want to give anything away. But you guys, I really recommend this. It's not nearly as gory or as creepy as I thought it was going to be. So there's a slight miss. I like when my thrillers are kind of creepy or like very dark. And this one wasn't creepy much at all. And it really wasn't that gory, which is good. I don't like it when they're like super gory. I ended up giving this a 4 out of 5 stars. I am really excited to read Riley Sager's other books. I hope that I like them as much as I liked Final Girls. I thought Quincy rocked. I loved Quincy. The twist, it got me. Did it get any of you? I'd love to know if you also enjoyed this book, so definitely leave some comments down below if you've read it and you enjoyed it. I think it is a perfect October/Halloween read. It's just got that dark vibe to it. I think it's perfect. So I'm really happy that I read this finally. It's been on my TBR for so long, and I hope this helps you decide whether or not you want to read it. That is my review of Final Girls by Riley Sager. Leave your comments down below with your own thoughts on the book. I'd love to know what you all thought. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I release new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And until next time, bye!